G'day everybody, hope you're all well, having a good day and start to the week. I want to take you through a Bitcoin top 10. So cross with Bitcoin. Of course, first of all, I'm going to show you what Bitcoin looks like against the US dollar, as we had seen it convert or holding for quite some time, banging in and around this cradle zone. Now, I'm not really in love with how it's sitting at the moment. It does look like there is potential for further downside, and here is the reason why. Let me take you through this. We have a lower high, now onto a lower low. Now, throughout this entire period, we were seeing these spikes, and they're happening very quickly. If I just zoom in a little bit, you'll see here, spike down, then it came straight back, then there was a spike up and down, and then a down, then back up. So it's been a little bit wonky and a little bit confused and not really knowing what it wants to do. The reason I think there could be further downside is simply because the only sustained momentum that we've seen has been recently, the last sort of 24 hours, I guess. And it has been to the downside. And it's not come back. It's basically been consistent selling off, falling into this region where we are now. Now, as far as it goes on the daily trend, you'll still note that we have not broken down through this low. We don't technically have a downtrend right now on Bitcoin, on the daily. In fact, there's a higher low here and a higher high here. This is effectively the point I wanted to see it pull back and then move on from. As I've said numerous times before, we haven't seen that second wave of the trend push on for quite some time, since back in the bull market. If you note here, uptrend, fell straight back. Uptrend, no more pullbacks, fell straight back. And we have been seeing that as a fairly common theme on Bitcoin for quite some time. So it does look like we might see some further downside. It certainly wouldn't surprise me. What else are we seeing out there? Well, right now, if we have a look at Ethereum against Bitcoin, it has been weaker against Bitcoin. You'll note here that we have sort of got more momentum to the downside here. And on the 4-hour, we actually do have a nice looking little downtrend, actually. And a pullback into that cradle zone a little bit deeper certainly would be potential or reason for a trading opportunity. As we can see here, when this downtrend came in, when we saw this low here, a nice little pullback, bearish candle, and a very strong fall from there. That's why it's in the list for me today for trading opportunities, because I'm just waiting to see if we do get something. Ripple against Bitcoin. Look, there's honestly not a great deal to say here. It's a pretty messy chart. There's not much room for me to place any trades or even consider it. The trend's just not quite strong enough yet. When I look at Bitcoin Cash, again, we'll see here that we have moved to some lows. You'll note here we've broken down. It was very messy for quite some time. However, and same here on the 4-hour, we do find ourselves in a downtrend. I'm just not a real fan of the cyclicity of this chart just yet, so not really what I'm after. Cardano is another one that has got some momentum to the downside once more. There's a lower high and we've pushed on. Moving average is now bearishly fanning to the downside, and we do see some consistency there. If I have a look now at this 4-hour time frame, what you'll note is there's a lower high, lower low pulling back in here. Little bearish candle in that cradle zone, and one that could potentially be tradable if you know how to trade a cradle trade and you decide that you wish to take it. Litecoin against Bitcoin. Well, look, it's been holding up since this very strong run it had. It's been basically consolidating between this rough level here and again this rough level down through here. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But because we're in the middle of that channel, it's not one that I'm too interested in right now. IO to Bitcoin, very sideways. As we can see here, it's just very clearly got some support there and struggling with that level. And of course, it's not a trend that's really got that much to it for me at the moment. EOS against Bitcoin was a wonderful setup last week. I got long here. I actually got stopped out just yesterday. Just a bit of a shame, to be honest with you. Nothing more to say than that. Realistically, it does look a little bit more bearish now. It had a fantastic run to the upside, however, so it's not that surprising to see it pulling back a little bit deeper. On this 4-hour, sure, if it pulls back in, we'll have a lower high, lower low, and it might offer trading opportunities later on in the day. Monero is just simply put very sideways. As you can see, we've been in this range for quite some time, and I don't know why Monero's in there twice, but there you go. That is our top 10 against Bitcoin. Now, that's not to say there haven't been trading opportunities presenting themselves. As a matter of fact, there was a great one this morning. If we have a look here on Bitcoin against Binance against the Bitcoin chart. Have a look here on the 1-hour. You'll note a lovely Bitcoin breakout. I put the video out to my market view subscribers, and it's just had a really nice pop, and we are looking good there. That was an ad. It was another trade on its own right, but it was also following what has been one of the better trends out there for quite some time. What you'll notice is this is still an active trade from right back here on a crypto cradle, and it has been a trend that has just kept on giving. This is why when we do see consistency in the markets, we can do phenomenally well if we know what we're looking for, because we do get these pullbacks. The same thing occurred against Bitcoin, against US dollar Tether, excuse me. A nice little pullback into here on the daily. That was a cradle trade in its own right, which was very profitable. And all, if you had to take it, that is. And also back here, again, I'll show you this 1 hour. If I draw it in like this, a nice little breakout for which, of course, it is moving on very, very strongly now. So there are still some great opportunities out there. We're doing really well at the moment, mostly just off the back of Binance. It's been a trend that keeps on giving trading opportunities, and whatever it does that, I'm going to keep on trading it. So guys, have a fantastic day, and if you haven't already, get involved. It's time to learn while the markets are relatively quiet. Have a great day. Bye for now.